Hey there, glad you dropped by. Before we begin, please give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. Warning, this content may include material that could be distressing for some. Discretion is advised. Chris is a fellow in his 20s, embodying the classic slacker vibe in Seattle, Washington, in the 1990s. One day, while grabbing a bag of groceries for his grandma at a small grocery store, ensuring there's also beer for him and his buddies, courtesy of grandma, his attention gravitates towards an unusual tinkin of soup nestled among the regular ones, on their designated shelf. This peculiar tinkin soup closely resembles the standard fare, sharing a similar weight and noise when shaken. However, it boasts a curious label featuring a monkey in a spacesuit, and bears the name, Condensed Astro Monkey Soup. Near the top rim of the tinkin, a phrase reads, 1969, Moon Landing Hoax Anniversary Edition. Chris picks up the odd can and presents it to Ernst, the shop's proprietor, at the counter. Ernst swiftly inspects it and concludes it must be a prank orchestrated by certain local kids he knows. They likely slipped the fake tinkin among the real ones during a visit to buy potato chips and candy bars the day before. Chris asks if he can keep the can, and Ernst consents. Chris pays for the groceries and the beers, then leaves. Upon arriving at his grandma's place, Chris takes another thorough look at the can. He observes strange symbols resembling hieroglyphs etched onto the bottom surface. On the back label, where one typically finds ingredients and instructions for cooking and storing, everything is inscribed in the same enigmatic symbols, rendered in minuscule printed characters. Amidst the unknown text, one English sentence stands out, brings fortune to the holder. Warning, never open. Chris chuckles, musing that the kids put significant effort into crafting this fake tinkin for their prank. He assumes it must merely contain soup, probably long expired. Regardless, he places the can into a paper bag with the beers, leaves the groceries in the kitchen, kisses his grandma on the cheek, and departs with the bag of beers to his friend's house to watch a basketball game on television. While at his friend's, with other acquaintances joining to watch the game, Chris shares the amusing can with the group. Josh, one of them, decides to put the can to the test. He persuades Chris to hold the can in one hand and envision something he desires. Reluctantly, Chris follows the instructions, but as anticipated, nothing happens. Fast forward 23 years. Chris is now a middle-aged man, the wealthiest individual globally, a playboy, relishing life, spending extensive time traveling the world on his own multi-billion-dollar yacht. He often reminisces about how that tinkin brought him fame, fortune, power, women, and essentially everything he could have wished for in life. It all began with a colossal lottery win, back in the 1990s, about 1 month after he found the mysterious soup can, and now he owns the most affluent, prosperous and far-reaching megacorporation in the world, a conglomerate effectively governing the planet and influencing policies of even the mightiest nations. Chris has it all. But he has reached a point where money can't procure anything novel or thrilling. His life has grown somewhat monotonous in recent years. The tinkin remains securely in his possession, enclosed in a special vault at a covert location in Norway. He has never opened it. However, his boredom has escalated to a pathological level as of late, leading to fantasies about the one thing he could never have, to open the can and peer inside. It has evolved into an obsession, keeping him consistently melancholic and despondent. Time and again, he has attempted to use cutting-edge technologies to look inside the can without opening it, all in vain. The material constituting the can is unknown to man, impervious to all radiation scanners and other techniques to see through matter. The past few years have been a torment. He has been consumed by thoughts of the can, day and night, and he's been secluded on his yacht, distant from the spotlight, the world, and the tinkin, for almost a decade. Until today. Today, something has snapped in his already fragile mind. A potent, irresistible urge has seized him. He must open the can, at last. Unable to resist any longer, the thought has driven him to the brink of insanity. He makes a phone call. After a few minutes, his private jet lands vertically on his yacht's landing pad. Boarding it, he instructs the pilot to reach specific coordinates, where he will parachute down. 2 hours later, Chris is traversing a dense, remote forest in Norway, following the guidance of a GPS device. Upon reaching his destination, deep in the forest, he dials a code on the GPS device's touch display, unveiling a hidden, narrow circular opening on the ground. It's a shaft just large enough for one person to descend into it via a metal ladder. Upon reaching the bottom, about 300 feet down, Chris finds himself in a sizable underground chamber. A large, thick steel door greets him with a robotic voice, demanding a passphrase, voice recognition, and a retina scan. Upon compliance, the door opens, revealing a room resembling a conventional bank vault. A single metal case sits on a table in the center. Another passphrase unlocks the case, which opens automatically, showcasing the Tinkin. The last time he had touched it had been 11 years prior. Without hesitation, he takes it out, retrieves a common can opener from his backpack, and proceeds to open the can with meticulous care. A Geiger counter, brought along, registers no radiation while the can's lid is being slowly slit. Once the cut is complete, Chris takes a deep breath and tears the tin lid wide open. Peering inside, his heart pounds with excitement. But something is off. Although the vault is well lit with white neon bulbs, he can't discern the contents of the can. Its interior mimics a mini black hole, absorbing light completely and appearing pitch black. As Chris contemplates inserting a pencil inside to probe it, a low-frequency hum starts emanating from the can. Quickly shifting to a high-pitched sound, it eventually transforms into a faint but persistent tinnitus-like tone. Blood starts dripping from Chris's nose as he collapses, shivering and convulsing. A blinding flash forces him to shut his eyes and, with a final moan, everything fades to black. "Chris," a voice calls, "wake up." Chris opens his eyes slowly, gazes at the lab's white ceiling, and calmly sits up on the bed. The surroundings feel sadly familiar. He's back, once again. Once again having failed his mission. The mission. "What did you see inside the Tinkin?" a man in a surgical outfit asks him with deep anxiety in his voice, while removing all the wireless EEG sensors and other neural activity detectors from Chris's shaved head. "Nothing," Chris replies. "Just pitch black, like all the previous times." Expressions of great disappointment mark the faces of the 7 scientists in the room, 6 men, 1 woman. "Chris, it's of utmost importance that we learn what's inside that Tinkin," one scientist emphasizes. "You need to go back in, ASAP, he adds. "You need to find out what's in the can, and what exactly the can is," another scientist, the woman, insists, almost desperately. "The survival of the human species depends on it, as you know well," she stresses. "We don't have much time left. You clearly did see something in that Tinkin, something so overwhelming and horrifying that your mind instinctively refuses to rationalize it. That something has entrapped your consciousness and our entire reality the very moment you open the Tinkin, and it doesn't want to let go of us. The only way to break the paradox is to observe what's in that anomaly resembling a Tinkin soup. And you are the only one who can do that. You're the only one who has a connection with that thing. Without you, we wouldn't even know where to look for it, let alone try to communicate with it. But, as I've told you a million times, I have no clue how to do it. It rejects me every single time." Chris laments, his voice rising in frustration. "Chris, listen to me, please," she continues, calmly. You must regain control of your own consciousness, which now resides inside that anomaly. You must compel your mind to willingly accept its new environment, whatever that is. Only then will you be able to see it. You must embrace your fear and abandon yourself to it. It's your mind that's rejecting the anomaly, not the other way around. Do you understand that? You must let go, Chris. Which means, I must die. Chris asks, already anticipating the bad news. Well, you see, the woman replies, somberly. Your physical body is but a mere avatar at this point. Your brain is here, but your consciousness is inside the anomaly. And your brain activity is hanging by a thread. Your consciousness has almost entirely disengaged from your brain. We've been keeping your body alive artificially to serve the mission's objective. Your physical life ended the moment you opened that tinkin. But your mind, your consciousness, the real you, that's still very much alive, scared, frightened, and contorted on itself like a snail retreating in its shell, sensing danger. Your body now only serves as a communication device between us and your consciousness trapped in that anomaly. We're using this body of yours to coax your consciousness into opening its eyes, looking around, and telling us what it sees. What you see. So maybe then we will also be able to understand where all of us are right now, and what to do about it. This part of reality hasn't been annihilated by the paradox yet. But soon it will. And then there'll be nothing left. Nothing at all. We didn't tell you all this before because we were afraid that if you realized that you're, well, dead, your brain would react with extreme shock and stop thinking rationally. Which, as you undoubtedly grasp, would unquestionably impede our already precarious mission. But I thought you should know the truth now. Maybe, just maybe, that's the solution. What do you think? Chris? I think it's time for some soup, Doc. Chris muses, his tone carrying a sense of resignation. Send me back in, wherever that is. Tuesday, March 19th, 1991. Yo! What's up, my man? Exclaims Chris, briskly entering Ernst's shop. Hey Chris, what up? Responds Ernst, offering a friendly wave from his customary spot on the opposite side of the store. Grandma's groceries and beers, declares Chris, his gaze already fixed on the beer aisle. The beers are for your grandma too, aren't they? Ernst teases, with a wry smirk. Yeah, totally, why not? Chris playfully retorts, infusing a mockingly surprised tone. Hey, where do you keep the soups? Look on your left, third shelf from the top, Ernst replies, gesturing precisely to the designated spot. Thanks, man. Let's see, condensed Astro Monkey soup? What the? 1969, Moon Landing Hoax Anniversary Edition? Hey Ernst. What the fuck is this? And that's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in, your being here is truly appreciated. Take care, stick around for more strange stories, and see you real soon, in another timeline.